I was quite stupid, to be honest. I thought, yeah, let's sell the GT3. I have just become a father. I have a 1-month-old baby at home and I need a practical car, and I bought a 996 turbo. I'm stupid. It is a practical car, don't misunderstand me, but not when you have a 1-month-old baby. Then you need a bus or a station wagon or whatever to get all family stuff with you. This is the beast. There are no discussion about it. I mean, I'm not sure for how many years. Actually, I know, because when the turbo was introduced 1974, well, actually it started to deliver in 1975, but on the exhibition of 1974, everybody was pointed at Porsche, introducing the 911 turbo. And since then, this has been the benchmark for all sports cars. I mean, this is where all other brands has been fighting and struggling against. The Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Bugatti. Everyone is looking at the Porsche 911. And the thing is that a lot of cars will absolutely outperform even the 911 when it comes to performance figures. But this particular car, the 911, has always been ahead when it comes to usability. I mean, this is a 911 GTS, but with the GT3 performance. And if you look back in times, let's not go extremely far back in time. Where should I stop? Say 996 turbo version. Yep, don't get ahead. 420 horsepower. This has gone up to 550 plus horsepower. But the thing is that this is a daily driver, it is a race car, it's a drag racer, and you can do everything with it. It's a beast. It is this is, according to me, the top of the range of Porsche 911. The 911 turbo has so many attributes that everybody's talking about. When I was a young guy, everybody talks about rear wings, and we referred it, was it a 911 turbo wing? So this is a distinct design element that kind of puts the 911 turbo on the map. And it has been developed over the years from being, you know, the huge picnic table on the rear that you got with the 930 versions. Well, actually that kept going for at least to 993 when it kind of interacted with the 911 design. But this is a trademark for the 911 turbo. And the wide body that the 911 turbo always had. And the wide body creates these beautiful hips extending the line of the 911, pretty much as the stronger color does as well. And that is the whole thing. That's the trademark of the turbo, because that is the 911.
White is the color of flowers in springtime, red the color of blood through my veins, blue is the color of when you were leaving. Tell me, let me know what you feel inside, 'cause you don't know by name. You don't know me by name. It's like you don't know me by name.
Where I would like to start when it comes to driving the 911 Turbo S or the 991 Turbo S is the comfort level and the lack of noise that the car has. The GTS Coupe is much louder. That is, the Coupe is actually more louder than the convertible. Bear that in mind, please. But the turbo is a proper comfortable car. And not only that it is comfortable, the seats that I've been talking a lot of is extremely good as well. So I would have no problem whatsoever going south of Europe with this car. That, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't do with the Carrera GTS. And having a Turbo S, you are so close. I mean, you could just push the things that you need, stiffen up the suspension, the turbo is revving up, and you could actually adjust your seating position a bit to be more sporty driving, and then put the throttle. And having the 550 horsepower smashing, I mean, ooh. I know for sure, I'm quite sure that if, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk had driven the 911 Turbo S before he started his Shuffle X up to space, he wouldn't have started at all. And I know that Tesla claims a lot of performance in their car, and perhaps they are faster, like a bike for an example. But the feeling of the acceleration in this particular car are much more intense than I believe it is in the Tesla if you start to accelerate from 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. From zero, yes, the electric engine always, and I repeat, always outperform the combustion engine. This Turbo S has an equipment I think is not so common. It has a 5-bolt displacement, something that I really like. It gives you the possibility to fit a wider range of rims. And the gentleman owning this car has bought some very nice BBS wheels, because the Porsche department, when it comes to the design of the wheels, has some improvement to make. I have to address the tires. The 4S tires from Michelin are magnificent. I have driven them on track with the GTS, the blue one, Mexico blue one, and I've also driven them on slalom, and I think they perform as good as my performance tire I have on my GT3. I have heard that the big difference between the 4S and the performance tire on my GT3 is that the cup tires will handle the heat much better. The air intake in front of the fender differences the turbo from the other model. But wait a minute, all 911s are turbos. Actually, I don't understand the debate from the base 911 when the turbo was introduced. If you really look into what they have done is, well, looking at the history, let's start there. Back in 1975, when the 911 Turbo was launched, the reason for that was that the Turbo was fully introduced into the racing team. So the Turbo has always been a big part of Porsche history. I mean, look at the 917 and the performance that gave. That was turbocharged engine. So I'm not sure why we have the debate regarding the base 911. Anyway, Andreas Preuninger has put it quite right. He said if an element is added to the design that has a purpose, it normally looks good. Carbon ceramic brake, PCCB. I tell you this much, you cannot get your fingers hardly between the rims and caliper. That's how huge they are. And I personally live here on gravel, and if a small stone would be trapped within the system, it's a cheap operation, about 10,000 euros. The performance could not be mistaken, never fade. PCCB brakes is a pricey option on all Porsche models. I wish I had the financial strength to have them myself. But if you brake hard, but not aggressive, in an accelerating movement, you don't need them. The 911 Turbo S is core 911. The race models in the GT range is faster on the track, but not with the true 911 history, making the turbo pure of the purest 911.
Oh.
Okay, the ceramics brakes are phenomenal. Let me tell you that. It brakes. This is GT3 performance when it comes to braking, to be sure. If you compare it to mine, I don't have the ceramic brakes on my GT3, and the braking performance are absolutely at the same level. And I think that should be taken under consideration. And all Turbo S, actually I think all 991 Turbo is equipped with a rear wheel steering. So you know, the previous, my 996 for example, I couldn't, it didn't turn into the corners because of the weight most probably. And I wasn't so keen on the performance when I turn in the car. But this car coming into the B roads and the grip, and as I have mentioned, these Michelin's tires are phenomenal. Oh, over the crest, it was phenomenal. This is for real an extremely easy car to drive. I think the 911 Turbo from the 991 model has really pushed the limits on what's possible in a sports car. And remember all the things that I have said about the usability of the car. Ooh. And it turns in, grip. Give me more, and then the ceramic brakes just stops the car immediately, and you can just give throttle early in the corner with a four-wheel drive system as well, and you can actually feel the power. Oh, I would like to drive this car on the track. I need to arrange a 911 Turbo track day, because this is far more than expected. Because my previous 911 Turbo, it wasn't this fun to drive, and the drivability has really increased with the 991 version of the 911 Turbo. Let me say that this is an extremely easy car to drive. Actually, when the Turbo was launched in the 70s and all the way, I would say up to 993, when the four-wheel drive was introduced, I think the 911 was called a Widowmaker. I'm not sure about that. That is what I think. Because it was a bit scary to drive, and a lot of accidents. Actually, a famous hockey player, I think, died in his 911 Turbo in the 80s. What was his name? Lindberg. I cannot remember, so I'm not a hockey fan either. And I think that is totally been erased. This car is easier to drive than my GT3, just to be clear on that. Much easier to drive. So here I stand again, selecting the right model in the 911 range. It is not an easy task, and has never been actually. From my right side I have the Carrera T, in the middle I have the Turbo, and on my very left the GT3. All cars stands for so much. You have the motorsport car in the GT3, you have the comfortable racer in the middle, and obviously the driver's B-road car with the Carrera T. Selecting between these cars is a huge task, and what you need to do is really think about how are you going to use the car. Having all these three standing behind me is a privilege. It's a privilege to see them, test them, drive them and compare them. One thing is for sure, all three of them are totally different. And perhaps that's the point.